Hi, this is Eugene again, and today I'm going to do a little demonstration on chicken stock. Now the ingredients for chicken stock are very simple. Chicken bones that you get from a good purveyor, fresh as possible, water, and vegetables. Now I'm going to do a little demonstration on how to chop an onion because I had a request for it, and so let's do this. Okay, so chopping an onion, there's the bottom, the root part, and the top part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the onion in half, and I'm going to hold on to the root part. So I'm going to be doing a rough, what is called in the kitchen, a rough chop. So I'm going to go through the onion laterally like this. Just be careful, this is a bit of a risky procedure, so keep your fingers away from it. And then vertically. So as I said, this is just a rough chop, so I'm not concerned about real consistency. I just want speed and get through the onion as fast as possible. Same thing, rough chop. You're not too worried about consistency, so just go through it as fast as possible. Hi, so now I've got all the ingredients together, and I'm going to add them, but I'm going to add them in a specific order. I'm going to put the onions and the carrots in the bottom, and also I have here some parsley and some thyme that I had in the freezer. I have a little bag that I keep in the freezer at all times. The stuff that I can use in the stock, I just throw it in the bag and I freeze it for when I'm going to be doing a stock. So you're just going to throw all of these ingredients into the pot and bring it to a boil. Okay, I've got all the ingredients in the pot, and I put the water to the level of no higher than the handles, and I always just cover the bones. That's all you need. Because you start off with cold water, there's going to be very good transference of flavor from the bones to the liquid. And also I want to mention there's no salt or pepper. You want to keep it as neutral as possible. So it's going to come to a boil in about an hour, and then I will reduce the heat so it just simmers, and then we'll decant the liquid to get rid of the fat from the surface. Okay, it's about half an hour now that the liquid has been coming to the boil. You notice that the stock has become milky. That means there's a transference of flavors and proteins to the liquid. This is very good. You'll see that when the liquid starts boiling, that the liquid will clarify. Okay, it's been an hour, so the stock is becoming, it's coming to a boil, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it down. You notice that the stock is getting clearer, and there's quite a bit of impurities coming to the surface, and fat as well. So I'm going to let it go. At no point do you stir your stock, just leave it the way it is. And in about an hour I'm going to come back and start skimming off the fat and impurities, and you're going to see it's going to be a lot clearer. Okay, the stock has been boiling for about 2 hours, so it's actually clarified quite a bit, and you'll note the speed of the boil, so it's a light simmer. So most of the fat has come to the surface, so now I'm going to decant, that is, get rid of the fat on the surface. Now this is my process. It's a little nitpicky, but the results are really good, so just watch what I do. I push a ladle down like this, and it's just going to skim the surface, so you're getting nothing but fat in the ladle. Fat and a little bit of stock. Then I drop it into a glass here. You notice now that I have decanted partially the surface of my stock, so that you can see there in the glass. There's the stock, and there's the oil on the top of the surface. You notice that I work with a plate, so if you get a few drops on your counter, it makes a real mess. So I just try to work as clean as possible. So what I'm doing is just getting rid of the fat. Now what I have in this little plastic Tupperware container is pure chicken fat. So now I've done this 3 or 4 times, and this is the oil that I got out of the stock. It's quite a bit of oil, and this is the stock with just a bit of oil on the surface. You see the stock is pretty much clear. I'm just going to decant the top of this and throw it back in. Okay, now the stock has boiled for 4 hours, and we decanted it earlier. Now you'll notice that the stock has reduced by about 1 inch here. So the volume of liquid has reduced quite a bit. And now I'm going to strain it off, and this is the configuration that I use to strain it off. I have a smaller pot with a strainer on top. But I am going to do that over the sink because there could be some splashing, and it could turn into a mess if I do it on the stove. So at this stage I've strained the bones off, and this is what I'm left with. And you notice that I can boil the stock a lot faster because the fat has been removed and it won't integrate back into the stock. So I can boil this with a little bit more speed and reduce it. But at the same time I added some garlic and some thyme to give it a little extra punch. Now finally, when I'm finished, I'm going to let it boil for another half an hour or so. I'm going to cool this off as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do is put it in the sink with cold water. So the pot will be sitting in the sink with cold water, and I put ice around it. So this whole thing will cool down within half an hour. And at that point I can parcel it off in smaller containers and freeze it and keep some of it for my use during the week. But normally I have enough stock here to make soups and braises for the next month or so. And my next video will be on a couple of very simple soups that you can make with this, and you'll see that it's with this process your soup will be Mozart instead of something that is you know, lacking flavor.